What's up, guys, and welcome to another video, and today we are reviewing Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And honestly, I started to realize, at this point, at the very opening of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which Azkaban, by the way, to those who don't know, is essentially the Harry Potter's version of Arkham Asylum. Essentially, that's the best way to describe it. Except if the security is a lot more secure because it's advanced because of the magic, because it's debatable whether or not magic is better or technology, but we'll have to see. Anyways, what I thought of this movie, is it the best of the series? If this was like the end of like a little, because this is just the end of like a, trilogy of, films that have simpler and much smaller scale stories. That's essentially what the first three movies were, though. They were essentially small scale stories, or at least, hints of, Voldemort coming back. And part 3, for a lot of people, is the best of them. And honestly, The Prisoner of Azkaban, I say it's a pretty, good sequel. I don't think it's the best of the franchise. I don't think it's my number one for me, at least. But I appreciate of how it tried. Alright, I appreciate how it tried something different. Of how, for once, it doesn't, really get into the Voldemort side of things and tells a much more smaller scale story, essentially. That's what it essentially is. And, honestly, for me, man, and Sirius Black, I like Sirius Black. Like, he's not really that bad of a guy after all, though. And it turns out Ron. Man. And now his freaking rat, or should I say mouse, is actually a random guy who was a rat for like a decade. I'm gonna downright say it. What I thought of the dude who was a werewolf, the gray werewolf, I liked the character, and obviously, due to the events of him, discovering that he's actually a werewolf, he decided to basically resign as a teacher because of it. So it makes sense. I'm doing, like, if I was in his shoes, I would just resign as a teacher. Just for the safety of my students, okay? So, yeah. Anyways. That's what I think for that section, or that part. Anyways, bro, the opening where Harry, like, how would you feel if one of the family, if somebody in your family, and this is a grown adult, by the way, insults you, not only insults you, but insults your parents when they're dead? It's like, what is wrong with these people? It's just, how can you even function this way? Like, seriously, what is wrong with these people? And bro, the whole part, oh, this is the only family he has. It's like, bro, you just should have put him in some orphanage, bro. Because at least that's better than putting him in that house full of crazy people. That's why I feel so bad for Harry Potter. Because of that. overall, I thought The Prisoner of Azkaban was a really solid, basically a solid story with, for once it's not big, but it's more of a small scale story, which gives it, its own thing. And that's it. The Prisoner of Azkaban came out in 2004, and basically, it did a pretty, satisfying. And obviously, that was also a big hit too, which came out with a fourth one, which is one that I actually really like. Stay tuned for that. Okay, stay tuned for that. And this is basically the first three movies were essentially a wrap up of the Simple trilogy, where it's just a trilogy of stories, of much smaller scale stories. That's what the first three movies were, essentially. And the third movie was produced by Chris Columbus, but after producing the third one, he basically left altogether. He wasn't executive producer, but anyways, stay tuned for Harry Potter, the Goblet of Fire, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.